Hey everybody, before we get started, just in case you are alone on Christmas, or maybe on Boxing Day, you didn't quite get what you wanted, or you wanted to treat yourself or something like that, go to our TeePublic store, teepublic.com/stores/miscast-commentary, or find the link on our website, and you can pick any of our shirts or designs. You can get it on a mug, you can get on whatever you want. Use the coupon code MiscastTreat30 at the checkout, and you can get 30% off between Christmas Day and December 30th. So go to TeePublic today, and check out some of our latest designs, and get some for yourself right away.
Frosty the Snowman is very happy, so the coin cup, I can't sing all the words.
No? Okay. No, that's all right. That was all right. This episode brought to you by McAllister Home Security, because guns don't kill people, micro machines do. Merry Christmas, everybody. We're watching Home Alone, and you're listening to Miscast Commentary.
You're listening to Miscast Commentary, where two guys have seen way too many movies and have way too much time on their hands.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Now here's your hosts, Joe Finley and Todd Murray.
Hey, everybody. Merry Christmas, and welcome to Miscast Commentary. I'm Joe Finley.
I'm Carrie Finley.
I'm Abby Findlay. I'm Rhys Findlay.
And the family is all here for a Christmas celebration. It is a family affair. It is a family-friendly episode, and we are very much looking forward to showing you this one. Rhys isn't going to join us for the commentary, but he wanted to be here for the opening. Rhys, do you have anything to say about Home Alone?
That his swimming shorts fall down from his legs.
The swimming shorts fall down from his legs?
The second one.
Oh, in the second one.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what else do you like about this movie?
Like that he just sees the bad guys, then he just escapes it and just traps the bad guys, and then the bad guys start taking him, giving them to the jail, and then the police officers came, and then they took the bandits, then put them in jail.
Oh,
There you have it, folks. That's Rhys's entire commentary
Yeah.
on Home Alone.
Yeah, because it's so fun.
okay. Now, Rhys, can you say Merry Christmas to everybody?
Merry Christmas, everybody.
So Abby just watched this movie for the first time last year, was it? Or was it the year before?
Year before.
The year before? Okay. So what are your favorite parts about this movie?
Traps.
Just
like
the traps?
I said in the beginning.
All right. I want you to think during this movie, I want you to think about some traps you might make for intruders. Okay, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. All right, but in the meantime, there's only one way to celebrate Christmas with all you great people, and that is to press play.
Yes.
And we are going, and 20th Century Fox presents. Interesting enough, actually, this movie was a Warner Brothers film first off. I believe I'm right when I say that. And they were given a budget of $15 million, and they started to go over budget. And literally, Warner Brothers came in to tell them, "You're shutting the program. We're shutting down the project." But Fox had already been talking to John Hughes behind their back, kind of illegally. And as they were going, as Warner Brothers was leaving a room saying, "Pack everything up and shut it down," the producer was going in saying, "No, don't worry about it. We just signed with Fox."
Wow.
And
that's
so
crazy.
they were going in and out, and they were given a budget of $3 million more to finish the movie.
That's crazy that this movie almost didn't happen.
It almost-
It's iconic.
It almost didn't happen, and it was really shady dealings what they did to do it. An interesting thing too is this movie was shot in, as well as the offices were in the same high school that Ferris Bueller's Day Off takes place in,
Really?
and Uncle Buck. You don't see a lot of the high school in Uncle Buck, but That's the thing. Actually, I learned a lot of this. This was on the Netflix special, The Movies That Made Us, and the Home Alone episode. I had learned about that. I've got my own research too, though. I didn't just rely on that show to tell me what to tell you. Otherwise, you could have skipped this altogether.
I still need to watch that show.
It's a high recommend.
That is a giant house.
It's a giant house.
Yes.
But what's interesting, all of the house, pretty much, with the exception of a couple of rooms, not one bit of this takes place inside that house or any other house. This is actually a set built in the high school gym.
Really?
Yeah. It's because it's the limitation of even a big house. It's hard to have like a crew of 20 people and cameras and all this stuff. So they built a big sound. They used the gym as a sound stage.
Well, that makes sense.
This is Catherine O'Hara, Toronto-born. Catherine O'Hara is an absolute hero of mine. And Abby, if you think about it, she's a hero of yours too, because she's in a couple of your favorite movies. She's in Beetlejuice. And she's a voice in The Nightmare Before Christmas. You got to talk to the microphone. Abby.
Wait, what?
Yeah, she's the voice. I can't remember the girl's name now. Who's the girl with Jack Skellington?
Her name's not Abby.
What?
Her name's not Abby.
I didn't say her name was Abby.
I don't know.
Okay, you don't remember, but that is who she plays in that. In addition, obviously, she is in. She was on SCTV. She was in Dick Tracy, Wyatt Earp, and then all the Christopher Guest wonderful movies: Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, A Mighty Wind. She was in Frankenweenie the movie, like the full movie. And what's interesting is Daniel Stern, who's in this, was in Frankenweenie the short that actually inspired the movie.
She played Sally in The Nightmare Before Christmas.
There you go.
Kevin's perfect for this role.
Kevin is perfect. Okay.
Do you know his real name?
No.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yes.
Also, it's a little side bit.
His
The
last name.
little boy who plays his cousin that wets the bed.
Oh, yeah.
That's his real brother in real life.
Yep, that's Kieran. He's at the table right now, in fact.
Yep.
That's Kieran Culkin.
Yeah.
Yep, thanks for confirming. The movie was directed by Chris Columbus. He wrote Gremlins, The Goonies, 9 months. He directed Adventures in Babysitting, Mrs. Doubtfire, 9 months, which he had written. He directed, this is important for you to know, Abby, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone if you're American, and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So he directed the first 2 Harry Potter movies. He also directed the musical Rent. Not the Broadway part, but the movie version. And the Percy Jackson and the Olympians Lightning Thief, which is basically Harry Potter in mythos. Yeah, there were... So I can't even wrap my head around how many people are in this family. Like, I could...
I remember the first time I watched it, and I remember thinking to myself, how many children do they have?
This is...
No, those aren't like, they're not all their children. Like there's one family that just came there, and then one family that obviously lives there.
Yeah, there's cousins, but there's still a lot of brothers and sisters as well. Like, a lot of them are brothers and sisters. So that's Joe Pesci playing Harry. He is a much more serious actor. He's not in a lot of kiddie things, and he's not in a lot of things I'm going to let you watch anytime soon, Abby. He was in Raging Bull, Once Upon a Time in America. He was actually, I didn't know this, he was in Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. And the music video for Smooth Criminal, playing Mr. Big. He was in every Lethal Weapon after Lethal Weapon 2, Goodfellas, JFK, Casino, and most recently The Irishman on Netflix.
And also, I haven't noticed this since the last time I watched the movie, and the police officer that is currently in the house is actually like one of the robbers.
You didn't realize that before? So do you not know what he's doing right now?
He's stealing.
No, he's not stealing right now. What he's doing, it's called casing the joint. So he's finding out all the secrets about the house, about whether or not they have an alarm or anything like that. So then he knows how to rob it better.
He's also getting a layout of the floor plan because he can, coming in the front door, he can see what rooms are where and that kind of thing. Yep. And it allows him to know what to do in order to get in, rob the place quick and get out.
Cool.
Yeah. And also, and then he also knows that they're not going to be there for Christmas.
Uh-huh.
Very good.
So Except he doesn't know that one kid's going to be left behind, so...
Yeah. What would you do, Abby, if you got left home alone?
Sleep in Mommy and Daddy's bed.
Yeah. What else?
Kevin McAllister does that too.
Yeah. I feel like you wouldn't really notice that much. You just play Nintendo Switch and in your tablet, and she can cook for herself. So,
Yeah,
so basically, you don't need us anymore. Is that what we're getting at?
And candy every day.
You're only 8 years old. How do you not need us anymore?
I'm fine. I'll stay home all day.
It'll be fine. You gotta have to get a job eventually because there is rent on this place.
It's true. Can you afford the rent?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only $1.
Yeah. So Macaulay Culkin was in Uncle Buck. Obviously, that was the first kind of larger role he did prior to doing this, and they actually came up with the idea for this movie during that. There's a scene in Uncle Buck where he's interrogating the babysitter through the door, through like the mail slot or whatever, and that's basically where the initial idea for this came from. What John Hughes was directing that, he was thinking about, ooh, you have your hand up, Abby, do you have a comment?
Like every time the person, like the pizza man, comes, he knocks into the thing, even in the second movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The second one's actually quite good. I haven't seen that in a while, but I know you guys watched that pretty recently. Yeah. So yeah, there's so many. This house too. This has been selling quite a bit. I guess shortly after the movie came out, they sold the house for like $2 million, and then like a little while later, it sold again for like $1.5 million. Like they actually lost some money on it, but it's actually quite a tourist attraction in Illinois. I can't remember the name of the city in Illinois.
Well, I can imagine that it is a tourist attraction, but I'm honestly a little shocked at the size of it and all that kind of stuff, that it actually didn't sell for more.
Yeah, but again, it's about areas and stuff like that. See, we have a thing like where we are in Canada. We've got a little bit of a low development kind of area, and like we see people buying like what would be a mega mansion here in a place like Georgia for what less money than we would pay for like a 3-bedroom.
Yeah,
that's kind of it.
Currently, our market
Yeah.
to get a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, maybe 2-story, you're looking at close to $500,000.
And that's why we live in a shoebox. A literal shoebox. It's soundproof so nobody can hear outside of it, but that's where we all are. I sleep near the toes.
Gross.
So yeah, Chris Columbus actually was initially hired by John Hughes to direct Christmas Vacation, another one of our favorite Christmas movies. But his relationship with Chevy Chase leading up to it was basically they did not like each other. Chevy Chase is notoriously not a good person, so he basically was like, yeah, I can't do this.
Interesting.
Oh, so much Pepsi in this.
Yes.
I love the glasses
I
on
don't
him.
like Pepsi.
What?
I don't like Pepsi.
Well, what do you like?
Soda water and the sparkling ice fizzy drink.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. So that's I believe it's Daniel Rattay is playing Buzz. He was named at the time. He was named the number 2 movie bully of all time.
Who was number 1?
I don't know, to be honest. I didn't see the list. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I'm gonna say Daniel LaRusso because he was always bullying those wonderful blonde Cobra Kai kids.
Oh, okay. It takes me a little while to catch up sometimes. He's a little faster than I am.
That's a really mean thing for an uncle to just call. Like, look at how the people look at this poor kid. Like even his dad was like, ugh.
Rude.
Could you imagine, Abby? What would you feel if we all just surrounded you and just yelled at, like, all called you names and stuff, then didn't let you join in our reindeer games?
Wow, just wow.
Oh.
I'd scream at you.
You would scream at me? Well, I'm too busy screaming at you. So the movie, actually, they got John Williams to score the movie. He was not the original guy to do the score, but they lost the guy who they had originally hired, and then they decided to just take a big swing, and they just reached out to him, and they had already shot a good portion of the movie at this point, and they showed him some of the movie, and they showed him the script, and he's like, oh, I'm absolutely in, and they were like, whoa, like, it was
That's
just
amazing.
It's everything coming in, and I didn't even realize.
Oh, the gold tooth.
Yeah, I didn't even think I realized that John Williams did this, but then when you listen to it, it's so unmistakably John Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Williams did the music, Abby, for all the Star Wars movies.
Ooh, so clarinet.
Yeah, well, no, he's the composer, so he wrote the music. Abby just recently took up the clarinet and played and knows how to play the Star Wars theme and the Imperial March, and that was one of my prouder moments. My favorite part's the part where you go,
It's like ba-da-da. Sorry. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum.
okay.
Okay.
Our microphones can only handle so much.
I personally like when you make it sound like a goose.
What? There's microphones?
So Macaulay Culkin, other things he was in, actually the another movie he was in but uncredited in was out at the exact same time as this movie. He was in Jacob's Ladder. Very teeny tiny role in that. Obviously he was in My Girl, The Good Son, Getting Even with Dad, The Page Master, and Richie Rich. He still does a lot of stuff to this day, but it's different. He's like a retired actor now who just kind of does things when he's asked nicely. He has revisited this role on a couple of different occasions. Once was for a Google Home commercial, where I believe Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern also were in that commercial.
I don't recall. I don't watch commercials anymore.
Yeah, she skips over everything.
Me too.
So
I'm able to.
I help
When we're
consume.
not on live TV.
See, this is and this is going to really help me get ads for this show, guys.
Santa.
This is money we could be making right now, but you guys are thumbing your nose at commercials.
Oh no, the branch is gonna break.
This is such a distinctly 1990 problem, because if the power went out, all of our phones would just all our alarms would go off because they're our phones.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be in a rush. We would be just
Times
totally
have changed.
Yeah. Oh, he knocked that over too.
Yep. Those things are the... Like, just bolt it to the ground.
Yeah. This is a wonderful little speed up moment too. So John Hurd too is in this movie. Famously, apparently, he did not enjoy his time making this movie. And he's like, this isn't going to be a good movie. He wasn't having a good time. Then after it came out and it was so well received, it was such a big success. One of the first things he did when they were shooting the second one is John Hurd broke character during a shot just to apologize publicly to Chris Columbus.
Oh, really?
And he was just like, I was totally wrong. You were
Good
totally
on
right. And he's like, and Chris Columbus said in an interview that he did recently that he still has that footage.
That's
John
amazing.
Hurd. And John Hurd, he passed away a couple of years ago now. Yeah. But he was in, actually another funny thing, another Daniel Stern crossover. He was in Chud with Daniel Stern. But he was in Big, he was in Beaches, Awakenings, In the Line of Fire, The Pelican Brief. But the guy's in hundreds of things. Like, you find him in everything. Like, every TV show, virtually every movie. All the Grishams, for sure.
Yep.
It's the
And that
age
means
difference.
yes in yes.
Yeah. Who does the oldest sister remind me of?
Which is the oldest sister?
Well, the one who's obviously the oldest. Her. Who looks like Juliana Margulies a little bit.
Oh, her.
Yeah.
I think it is Juliana Margulies.
Yeah, it's not Juliana Margulies.
That's what she kind of reminds me of.
So that was just the neighbor kid getting counted as Kevin. Mm-hmm. That kid actually auditioned to be Kevin for the movie. The movie was written specifically for Macaulay Culkin, but Chris Columbus didn't want to get a like get a bad name for being like a pushover to his producers and stuff like that. So he insisted on auditioning his own guys too, but then just had to land it on Macaulay Culkin at the end. Anyways, he was the obvious dude, and because it was essentially written for his sensibility and voice, it was almost impossible to put anybody else in the role.
Yeah. So yeah, John Hurt did pass away 2 years ago, and he was actually 71 when he passed away. I thought he was younger.
Really? He's another one of those good-looking fellas, I guess, right?
Yeah, he was 44 when he made this.
Yeah. That's not too bad. God, could you imagine being in this much of a rush for a trip to Paris?
Yes.
I don't let this happen. When we go to Disney, we're there. We are ready. We had the worst meal. Remember the meal we had when we were waiting the last time we went to Disney?
That airport food was terrible.
No.
Yeah.
Like, my English muffin wasn't even toasted.
Yeah, it was gross. It's just like eating cornmeal.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think the next time we plan on going, we're just going to bring some food for the hotel room.
Yeah.
They're
It looks like a...
I got a window seat.
This is something that you can't really do anymore either, because you notice they didn't go through the security. They all just went running, and
Yeah.
so,
No,
so much has changed since the 90s.
Yeah, if you charged a plane like that, you would have 8 bullets in you by the time you got there.
Pretty much.
And they're all flying first class too. Like, I want to know what they do.
Hope we didn't forget anything. You forgot somebody.
Oh.
Look at that hair. Our
Beautiful
son has
dead
hair
head.
like that sometimes when he gets out.
Now, in all seriousness, though, how much does Macaulay Culkin remind you of our nephew Jacob?
He does.
A
100%.
lot. He's got the same
Put
ears.
brown hair on it.
Yes, just darker hair, but he's like the same dude essentially.
Yeah, he looks a lot like him.
Yeah.
Just
And then, so which means if he just kind of like goes through a rough patch, he's going to look like Macaulay Culkin his whole life, because Macaulay Culkin still looks exactly like that, just with big bags under his eyes and some stubble.
And long hair.
And longer hair, yes.
yes.
Look at all the storage. Oh, that's a VHS player, Abby. That was, I don't even
It's
know.
a VHS player.
There it is. Instead of DVDs or Blu-rays, there would be a big cassette. Grandma has some in her house. Oh, forget it.
Forget it. Man, too.
Look at the size of that pepper mill.
Yeah.
How
So,
much pepper do you use?
well, it's over time, right? You don't have to use it all at once. So he's watching. Right now, I just wanted to double check what it was, because I know they watch a lot of It's a Wonderful Life in this, but they also have the fictional film Angels with Filthy Souls in this, which was actually the first thing they shot for the entire movie, was to shoot that, so they had it ready. There was a rumor that the original script had the uncle being like the real bad guy who paid Harry and Marv to rob them.
Really?
But it also said, and also to kill Kevin. And I'm like, I feel like that's just somebody making stuff up.
Yeah.
So, like,
That's not a John Hughes
I know
kind
it's
of
not
idea.
in this movie,
Yeah.
but in the, like, second movie,
Uh-huh.
same robbers, and, Marv got hit in the face, like, a bunch of times with bricks, and he's like,
Yeah. No, you nailed it. We're gonna send that out to Daniel Stern, so he knows. This was actually the highest grossing movie of 1990. It was number 1 for 11 out of 12 weeks. It was number 1 for 10 straight weeks. Then it went to number 2 for 1 week, and then back to number 1.
That's crazy.
And yeah, it's bananas, and it's something that like really just can't happen anymore. But the funny thing was, it wasn't the worldwide highest grossing movie. Ghost was the worldwide one. It was domestic. So I don't know if I don't know if the concept of leaving a child home alone was just a turn off for an international audience, or.
Well, a lot of times, though, the
Yeah.
international world.
creepy things down in the basement.
People.
And what I'm wondering is, like, how they made that thing, like, go up. Like, that thing.
Oh, you know what? It's as simple as you would ever imagine it being, Abby. It's fishing line. It's just a light, like it's not a cast iron thing. It's literally just 2 people in the back of it pulling on fishing line to lift it up.
That's too crazy?
Is that crazy? Yeah, sometimes, honey, for practical effects and stuff like that, they're the simplest things that you wouldn't even imagine. Like, in things like Star Wars and that, where you see, like, the door slide open, it's literally just somebody on the other side sliding the door with their hand. It's not...
But also, like, his face, like, when he sees the cars, he's like, they didn't go to the airport.
Yeah. Well, that's his whole money was his... Like, it's all about that face.
Disappear.
Now, let me explain to you, Abby, why I'm disappointed in you. Because he's only a year older than you are right now, and you know how much money he was making then? Millions of dollars. Millions. You have not brought a penny into this house.
No. Okay, I have a whole jar of pennies.
That's true. And you know how useless they are? We don't even use the penny anymore.
Yeah, but also, I could go to the United States and use pennies.
Yeah, and you know how much a penny is worth in the United States?
How much?
Oh, jumping up. It's worth 0.73 of a penny.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not worth much.
So what?
Yeah.
Still money.
Yeah, they still accept it as legal tender.
I'm free.
Yeah. How long would you run around like that?
Forever.
Forever?
I could actually see our son doing that. I saw him doing that today.
Yeah, he does that when he's not free.
Junior Mint.
Yeah. They actually, I believe they made a reference to that in... I think they made a reference to that in the Junior Mint episode of Seinfeld.
Oh, okay. I never really watched Seinfeld.
Yeah, you missed out. But, well, that's an out of context thing. So, they felt really bad about the idea of making fun of a girl and, like, calling her ugly and, like, making her feel bad. So, that's actually the art director's son dressed up like a girl in that photo. So, they were like, how do you make an ugly girl? You, like, just dress up a boy like a girl. Yeah. So this is, I think, only the second Christmas movie that it heavily features a BB gun.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah.
Which I just did a run for that.
Yeah, she did. Carrie has been doing a lot of runs lately and making us very proud. Yes, and Abby did her first 5K very recently.
Well, first 5K run.
Yes.
She's talking about the mud run. That was 5K.
Oh, yes, you're right.
And also the Rankin Cancer.
Oh, the Rankin Cancer. We walked that one, yes.
Yeah, because nobody would let us run.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, the most recent race that Carrie did was a Christmas Story themed, and it's actually got the glasses with the crack in it and all that stuff, and it says "Oh fudge" on it. And...
Yeah, it says "Oh fudge."
The most recent one I did was virtual run.
Yeah, the virtual run. It was the Pivot race, which was a Friends-based run.
Yeah, it was 25th
And
anniversary
it's
of
a
Friends. It's the Friends couch. You're getting to the age now where you could probably start watching that show and you'd probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
What is it?
We'll explain to you why there's only white people in it, but it doesn't make sense. But other than that,
We'll tell you about it later.
yeah.
They're off my property.
Yeah.
And when he said yellow, he said yellow.
Yeah. So this is actually based. I cannot remember the name of it. It was another thing called Angels with something, but it was a James Cagney movie that this is based on.
Oh, okay.
But obviously they didn't just pick a movie that existed because they wanted to use these lines in context later, so they wanted to be able to control the lines. Obviously.
Exactly.
He's so good though. What movie would you be too scared to watch if you were just sitting here all by yourself to watch a movie? Nothing? Okay, because when Halloween was rolling around, we actually tried to get her. We were going to find her kind of one of the more benign, like, actual horror movies.
Yeah.
That would... See, there you go. So you say nothing, and then I say, what, you want to sit next to me and watch something really simple. Like, you freak out. Maybe watch Child's Play, and then go back to your room full of big dolls.
That one still gives me nightmares. I don't let anything hang off the bed because of that movie. Well, that and my aunt's cat.
There you go. He's so dismissive there. That's it. I just forgot to close the garage. It's also not great if you did forget to close the garage when you're going on like this big trip. Let's not yell. Let's not break the microphones. So that
Classic sliding a sled down the stairs.
this is something they did in Jackass one time. They packed the whole.
It's just dangerous.
There's no way that sled lines up for that door.
No, that does not line up with that door at all. That sled actually still exists in Chris Columbus's office, and the entire cast signed it.
That's pretty cool.
That would be a pretty interesting
Like there's no going back
piece
now.
of memorabilia. Yeah, he goes into the corner right next to the door, if anything. Oh, that would be rough. You do that on a GT snow racer so you can like steer around.
I would not.
Man, that is... What would that be like? Imagine being over the ocean realizing that one of your kids is missing.
Well, I mean, nowadays because cell phones.
Yes.
But back in the day, yeah, it'd be crazy. But I would be giving that captain every phone number I knew to call to get somebody that I know over to my house.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I would consider asking for a parachute and swimming back.
No, they don't let you do that.
The mom's just like, I forgot Kevin, and the other, like another person says, it doesn't make me feel any better. I forgot my glasses.
Ooh.
So what?
Exactly. Well, that's kind of the uncle's character.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's kind of a jerky dude. So, this was the original choice for Marv. Well, not even the original choice, but the guy who they wanted and they originally signed was Daniel Stern, and they signed him on to do 6 weeks of shooting, and then they said they needed him for 8, and he's like, I can't do it. Or no, he said he wanted more money because it was more time. And they basically said no because of the budget size and all that. So he said he wasn't going to do it. So they hired a guy named Daniel Roebuck, who you might recognize him to see him. The thing I know him from best was actually The Late Shift, which is the movie about the Leno versus Letterman vying for the Tonight Show thing. He played Jay Leno in it. So he was hired to take his place. And after a little bit of shooting, he got fired. Because he just, like, his chemistry with Joe Pesci was not very good. And then they went back to Daniel Stern and brought him back. But Daniel Stern really regrets ever saying no like that. He's like, that almost cost me, like, everything.
Yeah. Right?
He was shooting City Slickers while this was out in the theater, and Billy Crystal would come in every day and say, hey, your movie was number one again. Your movie was number one again. Like, just the entire time they were shooting, for the 3 months they were shooting. Yep. It was basically Billy Crystal came in every Monday and said, your movie was number one again.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. Daniel Stern, actually, we've already mentioned he was in Chud with John Hurd, and that he has a Frankenweenie connection with Catherine O'Hara. He was also in a movie with Joe Pesci. They were in a movie called I'm Dancing as Fast as I Can. What was that, honey?
Now can I talk?
Yes, you wait till people finish like a person, but yeah, go ahead.
But you're taking too long. So, the robbers are coming there, but they have to make so many different decisions. They have to go and then leave. Go and then leave.
Yeah.
Go and then leave.
Well, because they think that somebody's there, so it's not about making decisions. They think, they're like, I thought they left. Oh, they didn't leave. Oh.
Uh-huh.
Right? Because you don't want to have to deal with that.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. With all the Nest cameras and stuff like that, these guys would be... This movie just literally couldn't happen anymore.
Nope.
Just with, like...
Makes you wonder how they're going to redo it for Netflix this year.
That actually is a really good point. It's not Netflix. It's Disney Plus.
Oh, I thought it was Netflix.
No, Disney Plus is doing it.
I don't even want to watch Home Alone 3. Anybody without Kevin, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't even remember who that little kid was, the other one, but...
It's just...
I feel like I've decided that I made up a whole other thing. Like, I know it's not even like a robbery per se in that one, but I've decided that it's ninjas. It's like that kid scores up against ninjas.
Yeah, I don't remember how that one went either.
I like that. I like that everybody's on board with this, though. Like the daughter grabbed that away. I believe the one on the left, I believe that's the one who plays Megan. She left acting very shortly after this, and she became like I believe it was a judo, like an Olympic judo athlete.
Athlete? Wow.
I mean, they couldn't all make it, right?
Yeah, true.
I feel bad though. Like it must be kind of rough. Like you've got all these kids who are roughly the same age. They're all child actors and all that. You see this one, and this one just like rockets to a stardom that basically hasn't existed for a kid since like Shirley Temple or Judy Garland or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, this house, they've changed quite a bit about it too. They in that Netflix special, they revisit the house, and the big crescent driveway is gone now. It's all grass, and it's.
Why would you even take that away?
His
Those
scream
are
is
awesome.
I wouldn't change a single detail because I wanted it to look just as
The
normal.
scream is weird. It's like,
Yeah.
pause,
Yeah.
pause.
Well, you only have so much breath, right?
Run.
Never putting on his jammies. Oh. So what else do we have here? How do you, again, like, I don't understand. There's literally nobody they could contact that isn't the police that lives nearby. Like, do they not know any of their neighbors? I guess they've already kind of established that most of the neighbors are gone.
Yeah, well,
But-
the husband makes comment that he gives their address book to the aunt, and they all go start making phone calls to see if anybody's home.
Yeah. This is Larry Hankin, who is actually, he's in so many things that Billy Madison does, but he was also the annoying upstairs neighbor in Friends.
Yes.
I could play the oboe. He is a very funny guy, actually. I like him a lot. He basically always plays this sort of character. I was reading through a lot of the people that they wanted to play the different roles and stuff like that. Basically, everybody you would think of as an alternate to Joe Pesci was offered the role or considered for. It's like Danny DeVito and Bob Hoskins and all these different people. Apparently Robert De Niro was flat out offered the role and turned it down for like scheduling problems. Christopher Lloyd and Michael Richards were both offered Marv.
Interesting.
I could see either one. I think Michael Richards actually, being the time that it was and us not knowing about the things he said and blah, 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 it's kind of like thinking about Cosby back in the day. It's totally fine. But yeah, picturing him doing all the physical stuff, I think would have actually been quite funny.
Yeah. I'm shocked that the police were so nonchalant about the fact that they've left an 8-year-old home alone by mistake.
It's suburban Chicago. Nobody gives a crap about missing kids, I guess.
It's just like, they're just like, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like I said earlier, so yeah, the budget ended up being $18 million for the movie. And it made, just domestically, it made $285.8 million. I think it made like 600 and something million worldwide.
Wow, that's crazy.
And for the time, especially, because nothing had reached $1 billion. This was the highest grossing comedy in like the Guinness Book of World Records for years. And it was also, I think, the highest grossing independent film or something like that. It had something like that because of it qualified in a way because of its switch between studios or something like that it had like some weird qualification for that. Yeah, so it came out in December. It was still in the top 5 in March. And it debuted the week it debuted. These are some of the movies that were out: Misery, Dances with Wolves, The Rookie, Predator 2, Rocky 5, Ghost, and Edward Scissorhands.
Those are all really big movies.
Edward Scissorhands opened at the same week as this, but I guess it was like I think it was in like a limited cities or something, because it like debuted in like number 14 and then it was number 2 next week.
Yeah.
So I think that it was probably like a limited showing or something like that.
But those are all really big movies.
Yeah. Week 2, it stayed number 1 when Mermaids and Look Who's Talking 2 both were released.
Those are decent side movies,
Yeah.
movies too.
And then it stayed number 1 in week 3 when Kindergarten Cop came out. And but as Schwarzenegger and also a family movie, so I mean, like,
Yeah, it could have potentially taken over, I guess.
yeah.
Given those
So,
parameters.
but I think it was the time of year that did it for this. It's like, if you're gonna go see a family movie, you're gonna go see the family movie about Christmas. You're not gonna go see the family movie about Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
or at least you're less likely.
Okay, so here comes the scene.
This
Scene
is,
of all scenes in a movie.
and this was actually him doing his job incorrectly. He was supposed to take his hands off his face before he screamed. He was supposed to do the, like when you just slap a little on, and then it was supposed to take a second and then sting, and then he'd scream. But he just put it on his face and just left his hands there, and then they were just like, it was brilliant, and it is one of the most.
It's one of the most iconic movie scenes.
Yeah.
Of all movies.
So, how do you think, Abby, they made Kevin fall in this?
He probably had like some type of harness on or something. that kind of,
No.
like, controlled him.
That was a 30-year-old man. That was just a short man dressed like Kevin from the back, wearing a wig that looked like him, and then they made the shelves give way, so it was an adult who fell. It wasn't a kid. Nice. He really, really wrecks that room, doesn't he?
Well, have you met his brother?
Yes. He has every right to be mad at him, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What?
Like, oh, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, you're out of here.
No, I'm not. You're out of here.
Yeah. Oh, he's catching everything.
Yeah.
That was actually something I had pictured so many times, like different like sketch versions of things like to do with this. I pictured him essentially becoming I pictured Saw, and I pictured that he was actually Jigsaw. He's like making up all these weird contraptions and stuff to torture people, which was what he learned how to do as a kid and stuff like that. But then I also learned about and then that was around the time I learned about him doing all of his reprising his role stuff, because he did one. It was in something called, I think it was called Drivers, and it was like a College Humor thing or something like that. And it was him doing like a ride share or a cab ride or something like that. And it was him playing Kevin McAllister, and he was all strung out with the long hair, and he had a beard, and he's just like, you don't understand what I went through. My parents just left me. And he basically went through the entire plot of the movie and just like, they ruined me.
That's funny.
Ooh, that's the weirdest I've never seen a kaleidoscope
I
like
was
that
just
in my
going to say
life.
that. I never even noticed that before, but yeah, that was the weirdest kaleidoscope.
This
Yeah,
is the
like-
first scene they shot for the entire movie, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I said the Angels with Filthy Souls thing, and that is true, but I don't count that as a movie scene. That was kind of like
A prop.
context stock stuff that they needed.
He's kind of like, well, he was kind of like, gave the toothbrush, and
Yeah.
just like, it doesn't say, and didn't even look at it.
No, that's true.
Just look at it.
Why couldn't they could have also just blown this kid off. I think it's totally okay to have not answered this kid's questions. So,
Why is his hand all bloody?
I don't know. So this guy, other than looking a bit like your father, is
Daddy?
yeah,
No.
he does. He kind of looks like a
little bit
like
like
a rougher version of your grandpa.
No.
But yeah, his name is Roberts Blossom. He was in The Great Gatsby. He was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Christine, The Last Temptation of Christ, The Quick and the Dead. Like, he actually had quite a career, and I didn't realize that it was him.
Really?
Yeah. What? There was such a huge pause.
I love that the cop leaves the person on the side of the road to
Yeah.
start chasing a kid. For
I would, at the
shoplifting.
very least, too, I would have held on that shot for a minute just so you watch the car drive away.
Yeah.
Because that's 100% what I'm doing. I'm waiting here to get my ticket from this guy. He's
Yeah,
going to be all
exactly.
winded. So how they do this shot here, Abby, is when he's sliding, they're literally pulling him across. That's not even actual ice. So when they're just pulling him across this, it's like this frozen glycerol stuff. And they're just literally pulling him. And then they also had this little camera that they used a lot of the times, and they'd slide it between his legs. So they use that shot plus the shot of him being pulled through to make it
look like
he was going through just on his own. But yeah, it wasn't apparently cold enough. They actually didn't even have that much snow. Most of this is fake snow.
It's like Christmas in our area.
Yeah, right now it is actually
9 degrees today.
Yeah, 9 degrees Celsius. We're talking about like what, 45?
And like
thereabouts.
it's 2 days till Christmas. Well, actually, 2 sleeps till Christmas.
48.
48. There you go.
Out there.
It's only 2 sleeps till Christmas.
Only 2 sleeps till Christmas. We are at Christmas Eve.
Well,
this
when we're shooting
well,
this.
yes, when we're recording this will be released on Christmas Day though. So all our lonely listeners, which I assume is all of you, is going to will have something to listen to. So I will give Abby a lot of credit because this is what, her third go on the podcast, and so high five because you're doing a great job so far. Fourth? What was it? No, you did the 2 Harry Potters.
Yeah, and then I did.
Oh no, yeah, you did it was Harry Potter, the first Harry Potter, and the Christmas movies, the Grinch and Rudolph.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and The Nightmare Before Christmas.
First,
Jeez, you've been on this more than Todd.
Definitely way more than me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Todd has been on this more though.
Yeah.
Watch where you're going.
This is why I tell you and your brother all the time, watch where you're going, because people driving don't always pay attention.
Joe Pesci will 100% run you over if you're not paying attention. So he had a really rough time because in the movies that he's usually in, he's allowed to swear a lot, and this one he wasn't. And I guess it would slip out a lot, but then also he has those moments.
Imagine.
Yeah, but he also has those moments where he has to like have real freakouts, especially when he's going through the pain and stuff like that. So they had to try and work on like a shorthand where he wouldn't let it slip out and stuff like that. So they were like creating alternate words like fridge instead of and these different things. But he had made the decision to have that. Yeah. Well, you almost did it right there. And they had made a decision. I think that neither of the guys took the movie super seriously. Not to say they weren't professional, they just didn't think it was going to be some big whatever. So they made so they made the decision to kind of really play up the characters and overact a bit and stuff like that. So that's why he does that, because he's like, I'm going to make this like a cartoon.
Yeah.
And it works
But
really
it works
well.
really well for the...
Yeah.
Why is he going faster?
Well, because when you're being followed by a van, honey, it's terrifying.
Yeah,
That's why we never
It
let
is
you.
terrifying. I've been followed by somebody before.
Yeah. It was me. She married me right after that.
No, I was like copying what it said. It said, why is it going faster?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't have to read the closed captioning to the audience, honey. They don't care. If they're either watching along with us or they're not. So either way, they either already have the information or aren't looking for it. Joe Pesci, though, he's somebody, like, I find him so incredibly funny. Like, as Leo gets in the Lethal Weapon movies.
I love him in the Lethal Weapon movies.
He's amazing. Actually, while it's not the most popular of the Lethal Weapon movies, it's my favorite performance of his. It's my favorite performance of his is in Lethal Weapon 4. He has that moment towards the end where he's talking about, because Mel Gibson is having like that conversation with his dead wife, like at the cemetery, about like what to do, and then he shows up and he's talking about his frog, and he's like, I loved Froggy, and he's like, I got a new pet, and he's like, and I didn't love him more, I just loved him different, and he has that moment, and he's like, thank you, and then he goes and he gives him this hug, and he gives him this like little happy, because he's always been so crapped on by the guys that he just has this like really nice moment, and it's so subtle and it's so small, but it gets me every time because it's just so well done. So Daniel Stern, it's funny, we actually have a movie coming up. It won't be for a little bit yet, but we're going to be doing Little Monsters with, forgive my voice too, by the way. I have a bit of a cold and an ear infection, and I realize my nose being plugged is really affecting me right now. But he was in Little Monsters, and
Is that Fred Savage?
with Fred Savage.
Okay.
And then on top of that, he was the voice of older Fred Savage in The Wonder Years. He's the narrator of the show. So,
Oh, like the cardboard is just like...
and he was also, just to keep the Christmas thing going along, he plays the old man in A Christmas Story 2.
Oh.
Yeah. which I've never seen and I don't really look to see, but
No, I thought we watched it one time as a B movie.
no, I would not watch that. I think we downloaded or we were going to, but it didn't. I know I've never seen it.
And they're
thought we
all
did
the
for some reason.
mannequins. They're all the mannequins from downstairs in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, who has a bunch of mannequins in the basement like that?
No, I
That's
think
creepy.
but I think that this speaks to why it speaks to why I think it speaks to like why they make so much money. I believe that Catherine O'Hara works in fashion, and that's why she has it. I think she's a fashion designer or something like
Okay.
that. I do not care for that tree. We have we're pretty strict about our Christmas rules in the family, and there's certain things that just have to happen. Trees have to contain a lot of red and green. Like, I don't mind having blue and white and all that other stuff on it, but it has to, like, there has to be a base of red and green. And yeah, it's like those white trees with all blue ornaments and stuff like that. That crap drives me nuts.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me.
Nothing makes sense to you.
He has kale and carrot just in his hand and then
Yeah.
puts it on the couch. He's just like, no.
He's a weird looking guy now, like grown up, because he still basically looks like that, just older. It's like everybody in this movie, they didn't like age and like turn into a different person. They just look like a CG, like somebody photoshopped over the child thing, and it's like, this is what he looks like when he's older. And you're like, yeah, sure. But that's all of them in this movie, except Catherine O'Hara, who looks exactly like this.
Yeah, she does.
She is a lovely lady. By the way, Catherine O'Hara, if you want to like just come hang out with us, that would be great.
Again!
We're Canadian, it's fine. So Little Nero's Pizza is obviously a Little Caesars ripoff.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just like, little news. Back door, please.
I would have liked for this guy to have been like a before they were famous, like big person, like a young Brad Pitt or something like that.
Yeah, that would have been great.
I just like, not that it really would have added anything. I just think it would be a fun thing to like talk about.
His face is just, okay.
Yeah. This guy delivered pizzas here like yesterday. I think he would have a better idea of what would be going on.
Yeah.
Also, though, give it up for the genius of the kid to have like he watched this movie and then put it together. He's like, I can have a whole conversation with the person using just these words.
Yeah.
Now I just have to basically like use a lot of leading language and stuff like that. Also, I will make the point they have a doggy door, but no dog. That just occurred to me.
Huh. Yeah. Look at that.
So that
So
must
many
be where.
holes in this story.
Yeah. Well, holes in the door, moreover.
Maybe the doggy door existed before they bought the house.
Well, the way they treat Macaulay Culkin, I honestly think that might be the only way he's allowed in and out of the house. I don't know, they really inspire me how I'm going to treat you from now on, Abby. Yeah, no, it's not going to be great.
His remote
a
still.
whole cheese pizza all to himself.
Yeah.
I love to have pepper.
I could totally go for a cheese pizza right now.
No, you couldn't. You would feel like garbage
You're
afterwards.
right, I would feel like garbage afterwards.
Yeah. Now, this doesn't have to do with this movie, but it has to do with just Home Alone in general. I came across them when I was doing my research. Somebody just cheekily put in this little piece of trivia about the Home Alone series. They said, of all the cast members of the Home Alone series, Donald Trump is the only one who has been impeached. And that just made me laugh.
These two I recognize. And
She was in Dear John. That's what I know her from. The Judd Hirsch sitcom. And he was in everything. He's been like on every TV show ever made.
yeah, there was... I don't know why I recognize them, but it's not just from this.
Why is she assuming that she's a mother just because she's old?
Yeah.
What if they just like decided to live the
childless
yeah.
life?
Well, I was going to say the dual income, no kids anagram, but I'm sitting next to my daughter and felt bad, so I stopped myself. It's It's really hard having you here, Abby. You know how I speak when I'm on this podcast? A way in which there's a reason that you can't listen to it, and then Mom just chooses not to listen to it.
It's true. I choose not to listen to it.
There you go. So what? 5 of the kids were theirs, of the 75 kids that were in their house.
The 75 kids that were in the house,
No,
5 of them live there.
75 million. Okay?
Okay.
75 million.
All right, thank you.
See, he's sleeping in his parents' bed, so you would do the same thing?
Yeah. Well, but we have the Endy mattress.
Oh, the Endy mattress.
So good.
This portion of the episode brought to you by Endy.
Dreaming.
Who sings into a comb? There's so many things that are better microphones than combs.
I love Bing Crosby.
Yeah. Because Carrie is an 82-year-old woman.
Sometimes.
All the time. All the time.
I love White Christmas. I watch it with your grandma all the time.
Yes.
Joe's mom and I get along very well.
Yeah. And you know what, though? Because I'm a more tolerant person, I prefer Black Christmas to White Christmas. He doesn't learn his lesson. I don't really understand. I don't think it would sting if you hadn't shaved.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like the irritation of the skin from shaving
Yeah.
combined with... Now, I don't use aftershave generally.
Yeah.
So, who knows? See, he didn't even pick out the chocolate milk, Abby. He's a responsible human.
This scene always reminds me of the story your mom told me about the time that she sent you to the store with some money to pick something out for yourself.
Here, you tell the story because I only half remember the story. Because I never listen to her when she repeats her story.
She told the story about how she gave you some money to go to the store and buy yourself something.
Yeah.
And you came home with bread, milk, and something else, like cheese or something like that. And when your mom asked why you bought those things, you said it's because that's what you buy when you go to the store.
Yeah. There is it was an interesting time, again, because I was sent to. He's home alone and just going to this store. I would be sent to the store by myself. I would have to go and buy cigarettes.
I remember those days, too, being sent to the store with a note signed by my parent to say I can buy cigarettes.
Like, when on earth was that okay? Like, obviously,
the mid-'80s.
Yeah, the mid-'80s. But like that just blows my mind. Like, they're like store owners and just the law in general. Like, yep, no holes in that plot for me. No way you can fake that.
She reminds me of Courtney Thorne-Smith from Melrose Place.
There you go.
That is who she reminds me of. The last time we watched this movie, I said, she's somebody,
Yeah.
and I looked her up, and she's not anybody. She hasn't done anything beyond this.
Ouch. What if she's listening to this? You just made her feel like garbage.
She hasn't done anything beyond this.
Oh.
And
Yeah,
it's
don't add us.
Courtney Thorne-Smith.
Look at those bags.
Yeah.
He's just like, ugh.
Yeah. He was really good. He's got a podcast now and stuff like that, too. He's actually quite a funny, like, this experience, while it was really rough on them, like, he came out the other end pretty cool about it, and he ended up dating Mila Kunis for a while, so I mean, like, everything was pretty much going his way for a bit.
Like, how do those lights turn on exactly?
Oh, the lights inside the thing?
Those looks like maybe Christmas lights.
No, it's not even Christmas lights. It's like again, the guys who are back there are holding lights, and they get turned on.
Yeah.
There's really not much to that.
It's just like holding.
Yeah.
It's just.
Is there anything anywhere you go that's like that scares you? No.
Not even Mummy's work basement today.
No.
I took them down to the dungeon.
Oh,
today.
that place is a terrifying.
And your daughter said about the darkest thing I've ever heard her say.
Okay, what did you say, Abby? I cannot wait to hear this.
I don't know.
So we were walking by all the shelves where, okay, you got to understand, I work in a over 100-year-old building with the original floors and everything still.
Yes.
And it used to be the general store in this teeny tiny little town. And we went down to the basement, and I refer to it as the dungeon area because it's very, the ground's uneven.
Yeah.
I have to duck to go under the lights and stuff like that. So I said to her, I said, is it scary down here? And she said, no. I said, not even like a little dungeon-y down here? She's like, yeah, actually, that spot over there, you could hold people, and then you could use the guillotine.
Oh my god!
I said
Because I showed them the guillotine when I cut
I
some
said
paper and showed them the
chopper.
guillotine and how it works.
I said chopper.
Okay, well, that doesn't make it any better.
No, she referred to the guillotine.
No, I said chopper.
No, you didn't. You said guillotine.
I said chopper. Believe me.
But anyways, that was the darkest thing I think I've ever heard her say.
I don't know. I feel like there's probably been darker stuff, but that's pretty good. See, another thing, you could just have fireworks like that. Like that's just little teeny tiny dynamite sticks, essentially. Yeah.
And that's just a
Oh, I always give other people trouble for hitting these things and doing that. And it always ends up being me to be the one to do it after I do that.
This is not how you count. 1 to 10. That's not how you count.
Well, he was
10.
because he was giving him a fake head start, Abby. And then he blew him away. He pumped his guts full of lead.
Well, and to be fair, he said he was going to give him the count to 10.
Yeah.
1,
he
2,
didn't
10.
say he was going to count every number up to 10.
Keep your change.
I love that movie got so much use in this show.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually kind of surprised. If this was made now, I feel like somebody would have made that movie. Like if this was a more recent movie, like as like a comedic thing, somebody would have made like the full version of that movie.
Really?
I think so.
Kind of have it as like a prelude to this coming out or something? Or?
No, it would just be it would happen way
snakes.
after the fact. Somebody would just make the movie.
I know no snakes,
You don't know no snakes?
says Harry.
Do you know any snakes on planes?
No.
That's a movie I'll let you watch sometime soon.
Yeah, you got to be a lot
No.
older for that one.
No.
A lot of swearing in that one.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's the least of my worries.
No.
No. Okay. He
Sounded like a snake.
Daniel Stern is somebody who, to me, it's kind of crazy that he hasn't been in way more big stuff. Like, really, it's these movies and City Slickers are his big ones, and then everything else is kind of like... He was in, like, Celtic Pride and, like, Rookie of the Year and all these, like, weird little things. I was like, I feel like he deserved better.
We're about to see the other Canadian in this movie.
Oh, not just any Canadian. He's John Hughes' favorite Canadian, and he's one of my favorite Canadians of all time.
Yeah.
Or Canadian, as I'm currently saying it. Oh, blah. That guy looks like he reminds me of, what's the name of the guy from A Prairie Home Companion? Garrison Keillor. He's got that kind of thing. And Garrison Keillor wrote that book, that Daddy book that we have with the poems in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Here comes John Candy. Another
Okay.
Canadian.
Yeah.
He was a Canadian great.
Oh,
Okay.
and another one of my favorite movies, Spaceballs. Okay. So he actually agreed to do this movie. He did it for scale. He actually made less money than the pizza delivery boy
Really?
in this movie.
Well,
no,
good for him.
Yeah, well, he just agreed to do it as a favor to John Hughes, so he worked for scale. He improvised every single line that he did, essentially, in the movie. Like, he's got the basic idea. These two are obviously really used to improvising around each other because they were in the Second City together and on SCTV and all that stuff. They were friends forever. She actually delivered, or was one of the people to deliver the eulogy at his funeral.
Yeah.
And it was, I just found out today, actually, it was her 40th birthday, the day he died.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. So he agreed to do the day though, and then Chris Columbus and John Hughes made this a 23-hour day.
Wow.
So it was a very, very long one.
He's done a couple movies actually that you could probably watch. Probably could watch The Great Outdoors.
Oh, you could definitely watch The Great Outdoors.
And
Summer Rental.
Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck is fine. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I like that one.
Spaceballs. You gotta watch Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
No,
Yeah,
you'd like
It's
Spaceballs.
a parody on Star Wars.
Yeah, you'd like that one a lot, Abby.
So
Trust
basically
me.
what they do is they take the Star Wars movie and they kind of make jokes and fun of the whole thing.
Yeah.
He plays Chewbacca.
And instead of Jabba the Hutt, he plays Pizza. There's Pizza the Hutt, and it's just a big glob of pizza.
It's not funny.
It is very funny. Mel Brooks is a genius. Oh, I'm sorry. How much money have you brought into this house again, making classic comedies? Sorry, zero. Zero.
No, I've brought in
I love the name of their van
like
too.
50.
The OK Heating and
Yeah, I know.
like who hires a company called the OK?
You know what, though? The modesty
$50.
actually... Yeah, that's not enough, Abby. I mean, Mel Brooks is worth millions,
Actually,
like hundreds of millions.
we're like almost 60, and plus
Again.
pennies.
I know, yeah. Yeah, your whole penny argument is useless.
My penny argument is not useless. Okay, a quarter of a penny is
Yeah.
worth a lot.
It's not, though.
It's $1 million.
No, it's not. 1 penny is 1/100th of a dollar.
See, $100.
Oh, you're the worst. He was very
I'm
self-sufficient.
not the worst.
I guess, though, being so, like segregated and mistreated, like, he's used to this.
Yeah, he's used to doing a bunch of stuff on his own.
Yeah. But he's got a real survival instinct. Would you be smart enough to do this kind of stuff, to trick people
Yeah.
into thinking you were there? Or that you weren't alone?
I'd just be like, Daddy, Mommy, come here.
Yeah. Well, it didn't really
And
work.
then I'd make like a shadow of somebody moving so that they...
Yeah.
Hey.
What would you use for that? Because we don't have a lot of things in the
We don't
house.
have any mannequins in the basement,
Yeah.
We don't have a basement either.
Well, that's
true.
true as well.
but we don't have any mannequins.
You use my BB-8, but that's not going to get you very far. That is just such a beautiful house. And apparently, like, every house on the block looked like not like exactly like that, but were just these like, wow, this could be the house, this could be the house. Then they saw that one and they're like, no, but this
Kids are
is the
scared
house.
of the dark. You're afraid of the dark too.
The stare, like just the face he has in this movie is just so good. I try to think of all the other combinations of people, and they were also talking even for the role of Peter McAllister, the dad, like John Hurd's role. There were all these people they were talking about, like Bryan
And
Cranston and
And a saxophone
bigger
and a
stars.
French horn.
Yeah, this is a polka band. Hey, there's your clarinet.
Yeah, clarinet. Clarinet.
Yeah.
I
So
can play Star Wars and Christmas medley.
yeah, she can play a nice Christmas medley. Christmas medley's not a song, honey. It's
Okay,
just
so
a
what?
bunch of little songs. The medley is the fact that it's a bunch. It's a
It's only
combination
two.
of songs.
For mine, it's only two. It's,
Yeah. So it's not even that much. of a
Jingle
medley.
Bells and Jolly Old Saint Nick.
Yeah, really bummed out. I found out during my research that somebody who auditioned to play Santa Claus in this was Chris Farley.
Really?
Yeah. I think that maybe just his style was just too much for what they wanted. Like, I don't think they needed him to be like a lot.
Yeah, that
know?
would make sense.
I don't know. I kind of like that look of elf with leather jacket, by the way. I'm trying to remember if that's the guy, if that's the dude from Herman's Head or not. I have to get a better look at him. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it totally is. Like, that's the voice for sure.
I don't know Herman's Head.
Yeah, Inside Herman's Head was a great old Fox thing, which it was basically it was basically Inside Out, only it was a comedy about like it was like the different parts of his personality,
Oh, okay.
and there were a lot of Simpsons people in it too. Yardley Smith was in it, and why am I losing his name? Hank Azaria.
He's like, I don't want my family. I want my family
Why
back.
is this not triggering this guy to go, hey, so what's going on with your family? Like, what's the
Yeah.
deal there? Oh, you're all by yourself? Well, please allow me to call the police and get them to
Exactly.
keep you safe.
There are no responsible adults in this movie.
No, everybody's a nightmare. So the closest person to a responsible adult is a polka band leader, so you know you're in rough shape.
Tic Tacs.
It's like, hold out your little paw there.
Everybody said, even Joe Pesci said about Macaulay Culkin, they're like, he's not a kid, he's not a child actor, he's an old man.
Yeah.
They're like, he was such a pro on set and stuff like that. It's I feel like I don't have a lot of data to back this up, but I feel like they really went out of their way to try and make Japanese cars look bad in movies and TV. Because that was a Honda right there, and they're like, "Oh, what a piece of whatever, blah blah blah," and it was always like that kind of thing. But like, you'd never see them. Well, you never see them do that with a Buick. But it's all changed now because now it's based on reality instead of
Stereotypes and stuff.
yeah. Well, no, but there was never a stereotype that the Japanese vehicles were bad. Just that I think they just didn't want to make it look like it should be the replacement for the American car.
Yeah.
Or the Canadian car, a moose.
Like on his hat?
Yes. Yeah, that looks like a straight up Roots hat.
It kind of does, actually.
Has a beautiful church.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of my nan's church back in Lindsay.
Yeah, we are not religious folk, but I do love me old buildings. And in St. Catharines, there are some beautiful old, like 200-year-old churches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This was a scene, they were actually really worried about this scene because this was going to be like the most real acting he had to do and the most he had to do all at once, like as far as remembering a lot of lines and all that kind of stuff. And they said basically he delivered this like he was doing a play. He delivered the entire thing perfectly every time. And they were just like everybody was just
in awe of
like
them.
jaw dropped. None more so than even Robert's there because he's Robert's Blossom there because like acting across the kid, you're expecting it's going to be like problematic and whatever. And it's just nope, go.
That is the lightest church service I've ever seen for like a Christmas.
Yeah, like this is theoretically Christmas Eve's Mass, and Christmas Eve's Mass is bigger than Christmas Day's Mass.
Yeah.
Like you go on Christmas Eve to do Mass, and like nobody showed up. I'm like, this poor church. I don't even know how they keep up with their stained glass maintenance. So many graven images too. I have a real problem with that. I actually went to a Catholic wedding one time, and they had these statues representing the Ten Commandments, and the one was "Thou shalt not make any graven images," but it was a graven image. They did it on a graven image, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" I don't think they really understand what it means.
His face is just.
Because it was a thing of Jesus. Oh, see? Maybe if he smiled a little more, people wouldn't think he was going to murder.
Yeah, maybe.
He does brilliant there with just the nods and stuff like that.
He's just.
Actually, how well this scene went actually led to a completely different ending. Well, not a completely different ending, but an ending for the movie that was different than what they had intended. So what we do see at the end is when he's reconciling with his family and stuff. Originally, it was supposed to be like a silly, like, oh, so what were you doing here? And he's like, oh, just hanging around. And it was going to be like a freeze frame, like comedic freeze frame kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first time I saw this, I thought this was like some kind of secret, like, oh, he's Santa.
Oh, I could see that and
Thing.
making sense, yeah.
So, like, he was like kind of his guardian angel, like, kind of thing. And
Yep. Yep.
yeah, there you go. Abby wanders off when she watches the movie.
Yeah. Mom, off your phone.
I'm just looking up information on some of the cast, babe.
Why?
Because that's part of what we do here is talk about, like, trivia and stuff like that, honey.
Oh.
Oh. Do you have any trivia? You didn't come here prepared at all, did you?
What's trivia? What's trivia?
Trivia is all the little information about the movie and stuff like that.
Cool.
Like, basically everything I've been saying.
Cool.
Cool.
We
So,
have to talk.
yeah, no, I know. I was just going to say, so have you thought about any of the traps you might want to make?
One thing I would do is I'd take the fire extinguisher.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty similar to the one, that Kevin made, but, I'd put like a bunch of fire extinguishers everywhere.
Okay. Well, most people don't have a bunch just sitting in their house.
And then I would have no water anywhere. And I would like electrify the like all the sinks, so when he tries to put water on his head, because there's fire, and then he'd get electrocuted.
That's actually a pretty good one.
It's not bad. You're as sick a murderer as Kevin McAllister. That's good to know. I would do a lot of like take out a stair.
It smells fun.
Like you make one stair like all kind of wonky, so when they step on it, it would collapse, and then they would go back down the stairs, probably break an ankle or something like that.
My trap would not be very good because I'm afraid of hamsters. I'd use a hamster.
I'd just buy a bunch of hamsters and I'd put them all over the floor, so it'd bite.
Bite your toes.
No, they would all just escape. That's all hamsters would do, is be nowhere near
That's
us.
why I said I wouldn't be very good at this, because they would just escape. But man,
I'd
I'd stick a
close up the
hamster on
vents.
somebody if I wanted to scare them. I don't like rodents. I don't like hamsters, and we have one.
Yes, it's my hamster, and I want a bunny and a rat.
The look on the old man's face there was one of, I should really be like come across as a nicer person so I can make adult friends to have these conversations with. He was just like, he's like, literally, I'm having to get all this this advice about my family and stuff from the 9-year-old across the street.
It's an 8-year-old.
Oh, is it 8-year-old? Yeah. Even worse.
Specifically
You're
said.
almost 9, and you have not made us a single $1 million yet.
Well, it's
What
not
are you
my
slacking
fault.
for?
It is your fault. It is your fault.
What are you doing, Mommy? Ha ha.
Our entire job was to have you guys so that you could be famous and we could siphon off your money until you realize that we'd been doing it. You then file for emancipation.
No.
Then you'd be free, but I've already put our money in the Caymans, so it's...
Daddy?
like, what?
No.
No, why not?
Because
As
I
your
make
parents-
my money for me.
Oh, you don't know how to deal with it.
Because you give me your money for allowance.
Yeah, so it's just all that. So that I make my money for me, but I have to give it to you.
Now he's setting up the traps. Yay.
Yeah, so at the very least, you could give us an allowance.
I can think
That's all
of
I'm
it. No, I will never give you an allowance.
Oh.
Because you don't deserve it.
Why are sidewalks not this clear anymore?
Well, the reason that these sidewalks are this clear is because it hadn't been snowing. You can really tell, like, when you look at the snow, it looks like bubbles.
It kind of does, actually.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's 100%
right there.
bubbles.
It is, yeah.
it's right there.
Holy.
There's just bubbles right there.
I remember,
I just want to look at his plan sheet.
yes,
It's like-
which actually they made Macaulay Culkin make it.
Oh,
he
that makes sense.
actually drew that. So,
Get ready.
I picture,
Battle.
I would love to have made, like, just, again, like an internet short or something like that.
Oh, those would hurt.
Those would hurt a lot, and any parent who had kids who had micro machines knows all about this. I feel like this is something he should have done like way earlier. I feel like they would take a lot longer. Like these guys said they were coming at 9. It's like 10 to 9, and he's only just prepping the freezing. What was that?
I'm not entirely sure, but he pulled it from the barbecue.
Yeah, that's what freaks me out. Like, did he heat it up on the barbecue, or that's why
No,
it's
it's a
hot? Like,
heater of some sort.
yeah,
So
it looks like an element.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
it's
was
like, Daddy.
yeah.
It, like, you know those fly swatter things? It kind of looked like that, except without the fly swatter thing on it.
Yeah, except the fly swatter thing doesn't heat up to like 900 degrees and become red hot. That I know of.
Like,
He's
just
really
the
thought
middle
of.
part.
I really give him credit because he thought of every entrance. Like I wouldn't have thought of every entrance. He's like, oh, they might come in the window, so I better set something up there.
Yeah.
I was like, I would have had stuff at the doors.
Yeah, because, like, obviously you have to have it at a door.
I like
Even
how-
a 2-year-old would do that.
No, the 2-year-old would just like poop themselves.
I like how prompt these guys are, too. We're going to go back at 9 o'clock. It's 8:57. We got to wait.
What? No, I'm just. What accents did you land on there?
I have no idea. I'm just doing voices. I'm
You
not
didn't
good
do
at
Joe
this.
Pesci or Daniel Stern.
I don't do voices. You know these things.
Yeah, mommy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
daddy.
yeah, it's like an old Western guy and Frank Stallone were having this conversation.
We've done this for exactly 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 24 seconds.
Yes. Except that we're not that far into this episode for real because we had a big gap period when we had to put the son to bed. Because Carrie decided that it would be okay to share with him that we were doing this without him right before we recorded. And he had a little meltdown.
Wasn't me.
Who did this?
Daddy.
Oh, Abby did
Daddy.
it. No, I
No,
didn't.
no, it was him asking all about what this is
Oh,
and
yeah.
him wanting to set up, and then you letting him put the headphones on and understanding what it was that we were doing.
This
And
is it. Can't get scared now. Of course you can't get scared now. You could just hide under a bed like somebody who's like, oh, I'm a 2-year-old.
No, because you know what happens? The people who go under the bed, they call Liam Neeson, and then Liam Neeson reminds them that they're about to get taken.
Creepy.
you're
Yeah.
too young for that reference,
And that
babe.
you're all alone.
So there, I didn't go.
Santa Claus.
I
Who's
did-
Santa Claus?
I didn't do all the. I didn't read all up on it, but some doctor wrote like a report on this movie about what the real injuries would have been to this guy. And the first one was that BB would have absolutely pierced skin through through the clothes and stuff like that. But they were talking about like the iron hitting the face and what like how that potentially would have killed him and like all these kind of. But they went through like all the big injuries and stuff like that.
Kind of like the MythBusters of
Yeah, and they said like legit, this one would have embedded in his skull.
really.
Well, and
Done.
like based on the distance and stuff like that, right? And like, and assuming a certain amount of pumps and stuff like that.
It's probably like, the robbers, it's probably like, they're probably like somebody that he knows, like Kevin knows.
These are rough. I'm going to tell you right now, Abby, there is no trick to what you're about to see. People just did this. That's just a man slamming on the ground. Like on concrete.
Yeah.
And over and over and over again, they have to do it to get the shots right and stuff. Which is why you'll see a lot of the times they have multiple angles of this. They had one, they had one camera. I think they called it like the chicken camera or something, where they just kept it on the wide shot, just so they at least got the shot on something. And then they ended up using that because it was this teeny tiny camera. They would use it for all sorts of things, like the going between the legs thing from before, for example, and then when the iron drops, the point of view of the iron, they use that. They literally just dropped it down the thing. But that was how they got most of these kind of shots, to make sure that they didn't like waste anything. Because imagine doing one of these and then the camera operator saying no, they didn't get the shot, there was a problem. So they had one that was just kind of focused at infinity and doing its thing. But like that, legitimately, again, he just went down. Stuntmen are bananas. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, actually, who was telling me about, I guess Disney is developing these robots that do stunts. And I was kind of like, I didn't understand what he was talking about. And then he showed me, and there were these on like a trapeze. There were robots that were swinging, and the motions like mimicked a human perfectly. They could get it to do like when it let go, do backflips, and then they got it and it like reached out like it was like flying, and it did all these poses. They looked 100% human, like the motions and stuff. So all you got to do is throw some clothes and some like prosthetics on to make it look like a person, and you could really eliminate the danger for stuntmen for a lot of these things, and without eliminating the jobs, because they'd still have to be there to coordinate and consult and do all that stuff without actually putting their life on the line. So I thought that was really cool.
And for the second one, the kid was smart enough to know that they would like that they would do this, like they would pull it down and move out of the way, but then he did none of it, so he's like, okay, maybe he's not that smart this year.
Yeah. I'll tell you something, a little known fact, Abby, well, a little known by you. I have not used an iron since you've been born.
Neither way.
We don't iron. We just steam things or get them wet again and throw them back in the dryer. That would be awful.
Yeah, that would
I
hurt.
I burnt my hand cooking supper today, and that was bad enough.
Yeah.
That would feel fantastic. Though.
Oh.
He really does do
Oh.
that. That is disgusting. I like that did continue into the next movie too, though. That's like thing was still there. So I learned this during my research. So he's barefoot here, but he's not barefoot. He's wearing rubber feet.
Well, yeah,
Like
there's
his-
some scenes that you can see later that you
Yeah.
can tell the feet aren't real.
I didn't realize that, but also that is exactly what they did with Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
Oh, it makes
When
sense.
in his barefoot scenes too. I didn't realize that. It makes total sense. But I don't know. Yes.
And also, like, when he stepped into it, I kind of noticed that it would be rubber feet because it went, like, in, but he wasn't bleeding.
Well, that was a little bit of a trick, Abby. His feet were in front of the nail. So like if I'll show you here, so the nail's here, he put his foot over to the side in front of the camera, so then when he went down it looked like it went in, but it was behind his foot.
Oh.
Yeah.
We got it.
He gets burnt so much in this.
Oh yeah.
It's an egg.
It's an egg?
The top.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see what you mean.
It looks
yes.
like the yolk and then the tuft of hair.
Well,
in the
I was
middle
just
would be the
thinking
yolk.
like an egg shape, not like a splatted open egg. So that was confusing to me.
Oh.
Yeah, these scenes where you see him running outside, you can really tell the feet aren't real.
Yeah. My problem with him, though, is why he was almost all the way up. He's now got all that stuff figured out. Why wouldn't he just continue up that way?
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I've got, like, it's like when you do, like, a video game and you almost beat the level, and then you're like, oh, instead I'm just going to do the level a totally different way this time, even though I had it figured out. That iron thing, too, like, the makeup on that looks so good because it looks so imprinted in his face, which is quite the opposite, obviously. That would be the most annoying part, is his, like, taunting. Chris Columbus says this is his least favorite of all of the pranks because, like, everything else was basically designed to murder, and this one was designed to just get him a little messy.
That one looks like fun.
I feel like they just did that one for the trailers so people wouldn't be like, oh my god, this is dark.
Yeah. I love that he checks everywhere but the floor.
Yeah. Oh, this would be awful. I picture doing this with Legos. Imagine like having just like a dark hallway that was completely Legos.
Oh. I've stepped on Legos a couple times in our son's room.
What was that
I
one?
stepped on Legos.
Yeah. What was the video? It was like somebody had a treadmill barefoot, and the person kept feeding Legos onto the treadmill, and they'd have to like run, and they were stepping on the Legos the whole time.
Why are you dressed like a chicken?
To be called a moron by a child, that's emasculating. Apparently, he improvised that line.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know, like in what moment. I don't think he was just sitting there and they're like, "Oh, throw out a line," and he just said it.
Okay, kind of the same thing in the second movie because he keeps moving away because of the bricks and
Yeah.
he keeps hitting Marv.
Yeah.
He's like smart enough to move and Marv isn't.
Yeah. And a lot of this, too, has a lot of, assuming he's a master of kind of human nature. Because he's like, okay, so naturally when they come up, they're going to think I did this, so then they're going to go this way. Like, he had to, like, do a lot based on assumption. They could have easily, like, just did one different thing and then everything fallen apart on him. And they'd be, like, pulling his body parts off of him right now. The one thing I never confirmed in this, because he says my name's Murphy and the way he talks, I was like, was he being RoboCop there? Because he sounds exactly like RoboCop. Again, this was a big, like, this could have been the end for him.
Yeah.
This was a scene Daniel Stern refused to do more than once. They did not do any. The scream you're about to hear is his 100% real scream on set at the time.
Would have been mine too.
And also,
No way.
the tarantula had not been devenomized. So he was really concerned that screaming was going to freak out the spider.
Yeah.
And then the handler had to say, no, spiders don't have ears. They can't hear you.
No,
So screaming doesn't
Don't
do it.
care.
Somehow this other one is worse. So I don't want a tarantula on me, don't get me wrong, but then the crowbar. See, that also doesn't work. That would you could see the way that rope's going, he would just stop in the middle
Yeah.
because it's not on a decline. It is cool that he
So he's
built like a
probably
bike
getting
ring.
Pulled across.
Yes. He's turning on him.
Yes.
This would destroy you. This would put your ribs into your lungs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why would you do that?
Well, because he was trying to murder a tarantula.
I know.
Tarantula, just the way they move.
How do you like it?
I'm so
Do
glad.
it to the kid.
I'm so glad now that Abby is of the age that we can show all these movies to him. I mean, we've given her some of them pretty early. We gave Beetlejuice pretty early and stuff like that.
But
But
she loved it.
oh yeah, absolutely. See, that's 100% not him. It's not a bad little treehouse.
Yep.
Well, it was. How gross would that sleeping bag be that's
Yeah,
up
I
there,
know,
though?
I
It's
was
just like,
thinking that.
especially like it had been snow. Like according to the movie itself, it had been snowing. It had been.
But it's bubbles, and I literally just saw it's bubbles. like the. I feel like it should be just instant snow instead, like 1,000,000 packs of instant snow.
Well, I think it's just a price thing, Abby. I think that they do have like snow machines that they can make. They actually crush down giant ice blocks and shoot that everywhere, but that melts. Right, so then you'd have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Whereas if you use it, this is like a foam shooter kind of thing. That foam will just sit there until you remove it or wash it away. There is one scene in this that actually has like real snowy morning, and I believe that's the house at the end there. Like in the last scene, they actually were on call, where everybody understood that the day it snowed, because it hadn't snowed for a long time, and they were all under the understanding that the day that it snowed, they would all drop what they were doing and go to set. Like, even if they were on a different set, they would go to the house to shoot the scenes that they needed.
He's so smart. He has everything he needs. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess if I need to sleep out here, then
The strength that would have taken to, like, go through that rope, too, is something, but
Yep.
we'll suspend some disbelief, seeing as these guys have survived everything that's already happened to them. I'm really self-conscious of my own voice now with all the... Oh, the chase, just so much land.
Well, it's a huge house. Have you seen the size of the house?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
yeah, Daddy, have you seen the size of
But
the house?
with such a big house, it's almost like you wouldn't need all the extra stuff because they're doing everything inside. They're not like having...
Trampoline or a pool?
Yeah, well, it doesn't feel like they're having barbecues. So the set that's coming up was also shot in the high school, but in a different spot. So down here, because obviously they couldn't flood a proper stage, so this is actually shot in the swimming pool at the high school.
Really?
So yeah, they emptied the swimming pool was empty, and they shot it down inside, and then was running water into the pool.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. But it's just amazing that, like, everything was basically within feet of each other. Like, and including all their offices and stuff like that, too. It's like a really economic way. Because John Hughes refuses to shoot in Hollywood. He wants to always shoot in Chicago. So, he wants to stay outside of the Hollywood system, so. So he actually accidentally bit him there, and Macaulay Culkin had a scar on his finger from where Joe
Really?
Pesci bit him.
But he is home.
Yeah. No, that's not
No,
his house. That's the neighbor's
across the
house.
street. That they already robbed and flooded.
Yeah. Isn't that just the worst part, though? It's like, oh my god, we've been robbed. Oh, and our house has been destroyed by being flooded. Oh, yeah.
I thought that was his house.
Yeah, why did... he gave the opposite address.
That's why he said his name was Murphy.
Yeah.
Because it's the Murphy's house across the street.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't get it. Because remember when he lost his gold tooth? That was still in the other house.
Yes.
But then, at the end, the dad goes in.
Yeah. No, they lost it in Kevin's house. Yeah, remember? Because they got hit in the face with the paint cans in Kevin's house. There you go.
It's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. It is a good song. If the right person sings it, I like it. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. But yeah, it's one of those...
He's like, what?
Yeah,
I'm so happy I'm not hurt at all.
There's a version of this where he has guys on the outside come and murder that kid. There's no... Like, that would be an obsession.
Yeah.
So what has he left? What has he left for Santa? A bunch of carrots.
It's the cutest little tree.
It really is. Are those like the presents that were like in the house, like they had them stashed somewhere else, or did he wrap and put all those presents under the tree?
I think he wrapped them because they're all from him. They're to his mom from Kevin, and yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, he was out shopping. Where did he get the money? Oh, he stole it from Buzz. But he had a lot of cash.
Oh, apparently.
So this is again another completely improvised bit where he's talking about, like he talks about leaving his kid at like the funeral home or whatever.
Getting sleepy, baby?
I'm not sleepy.
No,
I'm not yawning.
No, but you're stretching.
Everybody, I'm not yawning.
May it be on the record that Abby's not yawning.
I'm yawning.
Yeah.
You're yawning.
I've been yawning the entire movie.
The only person who's not yawning is the one who slept the least.
Yes, but we already know you are a machine that requires
Wait,
to no
everybody.
sleep.
What did my wife just call me? Let's say that again.
You're a machine.
Yes,
I've never denied that.
Stop that.
I've
yes.
never denied it. I don't
Daddy?
understand how you function.
You
Yeah.
need to know the movie Home Alone.
Hey, I do know the movie Home Alone.
No, you don't. We're not watching Home Alone. This is all a dream.
Oh.
You're getting a pretty good sleep there, babe.
Yeah, sweet. Thank God, finally. Don't be so close to the mic. There you go.
Wow.
So here, this is the only time it snowed.
This is not a real movie. This is all a dream.
This is the only time it snowed during the entire shooting of the movie, though. And literally, it was one of those mornings they were on the set, and somebody was like, "It's snowing outside," and everybody literally just ran out the door.
Gone.
Gotta get that shot. I don't like all the red on red. He's got the red jammies on the red sheets, and like they break it up with a pattern, which is fine. But points at us, so we know they also don't have cats because that would kill their cats.
Yep.
That would be the thing. That would be a new version of this. It's like Home Alone, but they also have a bunch of cats, and those things just eat them people.
Here's something.
See, and you have this really nice moment. In a moment here, when the mom gets home and gets in, and they have that moment, and it completely gets ruined, in my opinion, by the people showing up 5 seconds later. Mm. It's just like she went through all that for them to have all showed up safely and easily, just moments after her.
Like she's like, this is so much work to get here. I finally got here. 5 seconds late. 5 seconds later. Yeah. Oh, everybody's here. I could have gone on that flight that they went on. Yeah.
I feel like budget wouldn't have let people like just ride in the back. That's just something that occurred.
We used to ride in the back of station wagons back in the day, so
I legitimately, no word of a lie, rode to a 5-pin bowling alley in the trunk of somebody's car. Because that was totally okay. I've rode in the like, and this wasn't Varsity Blues, but I was like riding in the bed of somebody's truck, and I remember they hit a big bump, and I was like I got air. It was freaking horrible.
We used to ride
He's
in
like,
the
"I
bed of
see
the truck all
someone."
the time.
And then
He
he
used
just
the
looks
force.
all mad.
He used the well. I think he has a right to be mad, don't you? They left him
Yes.
for days.
I'm mad. I'm like, how
Like-
dare you?
Like, you wrecked me.
How dare you do this to me?
Yeah.
And then like,
And the thing is, she can't even oh, he's fine with it. He's a forgiving lad. But the worst part is, too, like, there's no explanation for him. Like, there's no, oh, well, it was a simple mistake because the count was done and we think that it was your neighbor and blah, blah, blah. Like, it was like, but we counted all the kids and all that stuff. There's actually a scene, too, because then they were like, why did they have the extra ticket? Mm-hmm. Like, where was his ticket? Like, when they went in, why didn't they realize Abby? There's the scene when everything gets spilled on the stuff and they throw stuff in the garbage. You see his ticket gets thrown in the garbage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with the paper towels and all that, you see his ticket.
See, I thought it got lost when they get there and they bump into the woman taking the tickets and they all get mixed together.
No.
Or is that part 2 that I'm thinking of?
Maybe.
yeah, that's part 2.
He is... I feel bad for him in that he is built to do this kind of a role, this, like, bully kind of role. But, like, that's it. Like, he could never be, like, the nice kid role because he just looks like the bully.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me like really sad. I would have liked for them to have skipped ahead in time a little bit. Even that evening, them showing up would have been okay.
Yeah.
Like it's like they show up, like they hear the car come up or something like that, and they're like sitting together on the couch or something. It's like, oh my god, they made it back or whatever.
Yeah.
But them showing up right after is like, oh, everything's special. Like her entire journey, just to show how much she was willing to go through to get back as quickly as she could, is completely ruined by oh, you could have got there at the same time. But the
He went shopping.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. But they tried really hard because that was one thing they said they really had to focus on was the idea of you had to make it believable that he could be left home alone, and they tried to close every possible plot hole on that. But that also
found the good
that
tooth.
she would be hated for like she wouldn't be considered a monster for having done it. So they gave every excuse that it was just like a simple mistake type thing, and then obviously all of her reaction, and Catherine O'Hara, just a genius, made it work perfectly.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah. So this ending was never supposed to happen. Like I said, it was supposed to end essentially in the lobby in the foyer there, with him just like a "what do you know" kind of thing, and then assuming a rap song about the plot of the movie.
But this is a nice ending, too.
Oh, no,
It
it's
gives
wonderful.
closure to the neighbor who...
Yeah. Well, otherwise he's completely unimportant.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm sure whatever happens, happens. I think they should have, like, made it another plot point, like, do an epilogue where, like, Kevin ends up marrying that girl. Like, he becomes close friends with the neighbor, and he meets her, and they become, like, childhood, like high school sweetheart kind of things. And that was Barack Obama who played the son.
His face is just.
I was waiting for somebody to acknowledge that ridiculous line, but that I said, but nobody did. Nobody listens to me in this house. It's awful.
Yeah, we do, Daddy.
Let's see.
Yeah, you don't listen in that.
I do too, all the time.
You don't.
Great name, Mac Bing. Sounds better if you don't have a cold. All right, guys, that is it. That is the movie, and we thank you so much. And I thank my beautiful wife and daughter for joining us.
Yep.
Abby, you want to maybe plug your show and tell people how they can find you?
My YouTube channel is Abby's Super Toys.
Yeah, so you can look that up and find her on there. That's a fun thing that she does, and she does her toy opening and stuff. You can do that for the kid for your kids. Carrie, what YouTube show do you have?
I don't.
She brings no creativity in this house, guys.
I really don't.
She's a creative succubus. She's just what?
You guys have a vlog.
Oh
No,
yeah,
not yet. We're
not yet.
working on setting
We
it
are
up.
in the planning stages of something, but
Working on Tastes Like Yes.
yes, that is true. We are working on a food blog together that's called Taste Like Yes.
And
which
I'm
will
actually
be coming
on
this soon.
it, so.
Well, honey, it doesn't
Making
exist.
the blondies.
It doesn't exist yet, so really you're just making up a fake thing right now.
Yeah, we
Okay,
haven't set
no,
it up
I'm
yet.
not.
We need to
Once
buy the
it's-
website and stuff still.
Yeah. You got to go to the website store and buy it. All right. So in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for listening to us as always, and a Merry Christmas to you. You can find us on Twitter at Miscast Podcast. I'm at JK Finley. You can find Todd at Miscast Todd if we care about him today. It's Christmas, of course. We care about him. On Instagram, find us on Miscast Commentary, and I'm at JK Finley.
Santa's elf.
Oh, thank you, Abby. And she's reading the credits very wonderfully. Go visit us on miscastcommentary.com. Email us, podcast@miscastcommentary.com. All those wonderful things. So, yeah, just a little bit, too, that the theme for Home Alone, that do-do-do-do-do, is called Somewhere in My Memory by John Williams. They all have actual names in here. So, yeah, until next time, guys, we will see you this Friday, actually, with a Coming Attractions episode. Mm-hmm. Thank you. You're not going to be a part of this Coming Attractions episode. Don't you worry about it. I'll be doing the Coming Attractions episode. I will see you next week. We're going to say goodbye to 2019. Thank God. And, yes?
No, because I want it to still be 2019.
No, for adults, this year was a dumpster fire, and we're going to be getting rid of it. Nope.
Nope. I'm going to nope it, and you can't nope my nope.
Okay. Somebody's been playing too much Exploding Kittens.
No, you can't nope my nope. I'm just going to nope it, and you have no nope.
Well, this is where Abby's clearly got off the rails.
She's a little tired. We can see the gloss in her eyes.
So we are now going to say goodbye, say Merry Christmas, and we will see you next time.
This has been Miscast Commentary with your hosts, Joe Finley and Todd Murray. Executive producer, Joe Finley. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Visit www.miscastcommentary.com for all news related to the podcast. Miscast Commentary is a Miscast Media production.